What's going on, everybody? Ryan Motivates back at you here with another video. And in this video, I'm with my homie Dominic that I met here in Calgary, and he happens to be from Ontario as well. And he's a really good friend of mine. You know, we have a lot of like-minded ways of thinking. You know, I really respect him, and he has a lot of good things to share, right? And what we want to talk about in this video today is just the things we've been through in the past year, because we've grown a lot, you know, as people. And he's actually spent time away from me, but we both grown in different ways. So I think it'd be really cool to hear his perspective and things like that. And first, quickly too, I'll let you know that I met him in the gym at Good Life here. And it was kind of funny because I was recording a video like on my tripod, and then he left his sweater at the bench, and then I was like, yo bro, like you forgot your sweater or whatever. And then right away when I grabbed him his sweater, he's like, oh, like what are you recording? Because he saw the tripod, because he's a photographer and a videographer, and I didn't know that obviously at the time. And then I'm like, yeah, I do TikTok videos and stuff. He's like, oh, I'm a photographer. So we connected, and then the crazy thing is, like, we became really good gym friends. And then he's like, oh, I need a roommate, and my buddy that lives upstairs was looking for a roommate, so we ended up moving in. And then we became good friends. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been sick. So, you know, Dominic, you can let them know. How has the last year been for you, man? How have you grown as a person?
Yeah, so the past year has been like an adventure, honestly. It's been a roller coaster, too. When I was living in Calgary, I love Calgary. Calgary, I think, is the best city to live in Canada by far.
Amen to that. Yeah.
But personally, at my stage in my life, when I was living in Calgary, I wasn't doing the best. Let's say physically.
Like habits and stuff.
I was eating unhealthy. I didn't really care about my diets. I was also not doing good financially, so whatever kind of money I had, I would spend it on fast food, because I thought I would save money doing that. And then, I started drinking a lot because I wanted to escape that kind of emptiness. Like, oh, I'm not doing good financially. I don't really have motivation to do anything with my life because I don't have any income coming in. I'm tired of failing. I don't want to, like, I'm just so tired that I'd rather feel happy drunk and then let it all go. And I fell into drinking habits. I would say every second day I would be drinking at least, I don't know, like 3-4 beers. Like, obviously I wasn't getting drunk, but it was that habit of I need to have alcohol inside of me to just feel normal.
Right.
And then my family decided to move back, and it was kind of a hard decision for me to make because Calgary was my home. I had friends. Even though I was struggling, I still had a place in my heart for Calgary, so it was a hard decision to make. But I remember one day also my relationship with my faith was terrible, but just one night I asked God, just out in the blue, I was like, okay, if you're there, like, let me know what to do, because I don't know what to do, and I'm stuck, and I'm tired of, like, not knowing what's happening next with my life. So I said, listen, you lead the way. I'm just going to sit here, but you need to help me because I'm so done with my life. And that week, my mom called me. She's like, I bought you your ticket. You're coming home. And I said, okay, well, you know what?
Yeah, that's
She made the decision for me. I didn't even have to think. So that's when I knew. I was like, okay, I think God's trying to talk to me. And so from that point, I would say it was kind of my lowest point.
Like going back initially from
going back, also with the terrible habits,
right.
Lack of natural dopamine, so I'd be using also struggling with pornography, a lot of sex, and alcohol. Like, all those three things, like, it was really hard for me to have natural dopamine in my system because I would constantly be using other systems
to feel good,
right?
Yeah, just draining your energy
completely. And it was that one thing that I was like, I would wake up and it would be hard for me even to feel happy. So the first thing I would do is look on my phone just to see something interesting, like, oh, this girl with a nice butt.
Right.
You know, as a man, I think we're all victims of this. The first thing we see when we go on TikTok is a naked girl. And what do? We fail, we sink because we aren't strong enough mentally, and it took over me. So went back home, parents started to to kind of direct me in a more healthier way without me even knowing. So obviously I couldn't drink Monday to Friday because my parents would kick me out.
Yeah.
So that part was obviously hard, but after a while I kind of just got used to it, like habits, right? It started to become a habit. I started not drinking Monday to Friday. I started to eat healthier because I didn't have money to pay for groceries, so what I would do is just eat my parents' food.
Right.
And they always had
Healthy food.
healthy options.
That's
right?
good. Yeah.
So I started to automatically already feel a little bit better. And it was crazy. It was like, okay, well, diet, lack of alcohol, and then just those two things made me already feel better.
Right.
So I started getting motivated. Started sending a bunch of emails to a bunch of agencies since I'm a photographer. And slowly I started to find work. And I finally felt that hope. I felt like, okay, I'm finally back on this track. But I was also still dealing with this one thing, the pornography. And whoever's watching this, if you're ever dealing with pornography, don't be too hard on yourself, because it is a very difficult thing to overcome.
Yeah, it's tempting.
It's tempting.
Yeah.
We're bound to fail. We're men. I read a quote a couple days ago, and it said, "A man's greatest weakness is sexual desire." So you put any woman in front of any guy, and you see her legs open first. Like 99% of men are gonna cave,
of
and
course.
that's just what we're men.
Yeah, you lose your power as a man. Yeah, when you're a victim to that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. 100%.
So what happened is I constantly fell into that trap of feeling hope. Like for 2 weeks I would feel amazing, and then I'd cave. I'd see some girl on TikTok and I'd be like, like it's so hard. And
just draining your energy.
it would just be draining my energy.
Yeah.
And I got better and I got better and I got better.
Right, you became disciplined, you became aware. You've been doing it. Like a lot of people, I realize, do this subconsciously, right? They don't even know they're doing it. They're just in a routine of, the whole gig, right? We know what happens. But it's like when you're at least conscious of it, that's when you can make the first step. So you became conscious of it, and then what did you do?
And then what I did is I told myself, well, actually I'll tell you the real reason how it started to get better.
Okay.
So I met a girl that I fell in love with, and we were having a great relationship, and I realized that porn obviously was would affect that relationship. I already knew it because it did in the past.
Yeah.
So I told myself, okay, I love this girl. I'm not even gonna let her deal with my past traumas with pornography. So I'm gonna make a promise to myself that I'm not going to do it while being with her.
Right.
And I didn't.
Right.
And that connection grew so much stronger. I had respect for her. I always felt emotions, pure emotions. When we shared experiences together, I would feel it as a very meaningful bond. And it was never for specific reasons like pleasure. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
And
so you're with the girl.
And then I'm with the girl, and then obviously what happened is I fell in the trap as a man into sex.
Right.
But lots, and it was
draining you.
It was honestly the same thing with like kind of masturbation. It was like it would drain me. Like I would become strong, I would become very confident with myself because I'm with the girl I love. But it would be like every single week I would have that high,
and then
that depletion.
Yeah, the release. Yeah.
And every week it would be like the same cycle. I would go to the top, and then go back to the down.
Right.
And I was never growing.
Right to the bottom.
I was never growing.
Right.
I was always stuck. Obviously, my relationship with her was great, but it was also something that I was kind of scared to talk to her about, because I guess in society now, sex is very normalized in relationships.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but for me, it was something that was affecting me dramatically. I would lose motivation. I would lose inspiration. I honestly didn't even want to get out of bed, and it wasn't like people say, "Oh yeah, it's like post-nut clarity." I don't feel that. It's like
dude, drained. Like fully drained. I get it. Yeah, it's more than post-nut clarity. Yeah, 100%.
And I have this, not this theory, but it's like, if you're seeing, you're a man and you release, that can have a power. Well, it has the power to create a human being.
Right.
So obviously, if you're letting it out of your body, there
Aimlessly,
has to be some sort of depletion of what?
Repercussions.
Soul. Yeah. And what I like to say, because I'm a spiritual guy, I believe every time you do this, you release a part of yourself, so a part of your soul.
Right.
And
your energy, your energy.
100%.
Yeah.
And I felt empty, right?
Yeah.
And this is when I got really close to God, because one night after the shebang, I looked up and I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, I came back to Toronto to build myself back up.
Right.
To actually go in the right direction, to come back to Calgary, to be a strong, independent man, and then to have a future for myself. And now I'm here with the girl.
Getting caught in the trap.
Constantly in the trap.
Yeah.
The work was the same. I wasn't growing. I wasn't getting fitter or healthier in a way. I was just like in this, I leveled up, but I stayed at that level. I didn't level up again.
Right.
And I got comfortable, and yeah, I got way too comfortable. And that night, I remember I had some feeling with God, and it was like empty, so empty. It was like I felt like my whole soul just escaped my body.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah. So I went to the church the next day, and I don't know, something inside of me was just like never before. I just started bawling my eyes out. It was an empty church too.
Yeah.
There's no one there.
You felt that deep connection. You felt revival. You felt like someone was there for you.
Yeah, but what it was kind of like, what I was doing was hurting my relationship with God, and that's why I didn't feel anything. I was emotionless. And when I went into that church, it was the first time I ever felt emotion.
Right.
Like, that's the first time I cried since, I don't know, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like this, like, shame, but shame as a way of, like, accepting it and willing to change. That's when I cried out, like, for example, I could say like this.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah.
I cried out my sin. I cried out my
the act
of like of doing something, for example, unholy, right?
Yeah.
And I let it out.
Yeah.
And it escaped. Guilt went away. The feeling of being just, I guess, not a man of God, let's just say that, it all went away, and I feel like I truly was forgiven by God. And when that happened, I went to confession, told all the things that I was doing, and the priest said to me, he said, listen, God loves you so much that no matter how many times you go sin, he's always going to forgive you, but you have to be willing to forgive, and you have to be willing to change. Because if you don't change, then there's no point of...
It'll be the same results.
The same results.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if I have a lot, like, amazing time banging a lot of chicks, right? But then I feel shitty about it, but I don't change it.
Yeah, you're still going to feel shitty.
So I'm still going to feel shitty. So there's no point of changing. Right?
Yeah.
In order to actually change, you have to understand the root of the problem. And the root of my problem was the sex.
Right.
And I knew it for a fact, because every time I did it, I went back to zero.
Yeah.
Some people said, oh, that could have been placebo effect. That could have been your mental whatever. No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I felt it physically.
Yeah.
And
from that point.
And from that point, the priest told me, he said, you have to be willing to change. And that night I prayed to God and I said, I don't want to do this again. And since that day, I have not done it.
Yeah, respect, man.
Because and I love it.
Yeah. Quickly, I'll say, because this guy, he's talking to me about this, and, we kind of agree to disagree on this point, but, like, I respect everything he's saying, and it's like, he gave me a different perspective, and if you're listening to this and you don't have this perspective, it's good to let it land, you know what I mean? Because everybody's different, everybody has different beliefs, and this is what works for him, and maybe a variation of this will work for you. Like, for me personally, too, I'm doing a variation of this for me for right now, not going as crazy as I was, just, being promiscuous, I guess you could say, right? Yeah. So it's like, if you're more aware and you're just doing better plays, maybe that's in the right direction. But yeah, 100%, like, respect that, man. And what did you do after that? After you realized you needed to make a change there?
Yeah.
And after that, what were you up to?
So I believe since that day I had this, like, strong kind of like, let's just say
Like power back?
atmosphere around me, so nothing would affect me anymore.
You're in control.
I was in control. I would have temptations every single week, but for some reason,
You're in control of your power. I feel like that's what it is.
I feel like it was God. It was God kind of saying, like, listen, I'm not letting this shit back in your body. I'm not letting you fall back again. And the reason that was happening is because I accepted Christ, and I told him, I was like, listen, I need a change. I can't do this on my own. Obviously, I can't do this on my own because I keep failing.
Right.
I keep falling in the same trap. So obviously, I need help,
guidance.
right?
Yeah.
I need guidance. And that guidance was him, right? It was God. And since then, I feel like I have this power kind of protecting me constantly. And I've had a lot of times where I was like, Dominic, I'm going to fold.
Yeah.
And then I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was strong enough, you know?
Respect.
And I became more confident in myself.
Yeah. I could tell. I noticed a change from this guy since the time he left to now.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely noticeable, and it's a real thing. You know, to hold your power, not let your energy be depleted by people or things that don't deserve it, and don't drain yourself dry. And, like, quickly tell the people, I guess, for where you are right now, like, what is your next steps and how you feel and how you're going to navigate your life, you know what I mean, compared to what you would have done before.
So, from this learning experience of this year, what I think I would take from it and use it for kind of my next step in my next chapter of my life would be not trying to do it all on my own, because you can't. And I tried, and like I said, I failed. Being around family, if you don't have family, being around your friends that are with you and understand you, but also be aware of the people you're with. If there are people that are around and in your circle that are, for example, gossiping, complaining, lazy, they aren't doing much with their life, they want a basic life, they like watching Netflix and sitting on their couch. I'm not saying that's wrong, but if it's an everyday thing, you're going to become that person, because you become who you surround yourself with.
100%.
Right? So be mindful. So what I would do is be mindful of who I'm going to be around. Cut out the people that I actually don't want in my life, and not just feel sorry, like, oh, you know what, I'm a bad person because I want this person out of my life. No, I can't be around you anymore. I still have love for you, but I want to protect my love with, in my case, God.
Yeah.
And I can't be around those type of people with respects to my relationship.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, my next chapter is I want to find a wife. I want to finally build my business to its fullest potential, have ongoing clients, big clients, and just be strong and confident in my energy and my love.
And you feel that now.
I feel it.
Yeah.
There's no more being ashamed, right?
Yeah.
I was always ashamed of who I was because of what I was doing.
Right.
It's like I finally mastered that and cut it out of my life. In order to become a person you actually love and admire, you have to cut out the bad shit.
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real shit, man.
Bad shit out.
Yeah, bro. So I guess that's like his journey here, you know, like, you know, and I want to say, you know, here, like, you know, I really respect you as a person. I'm happy I met you as a friend, you know, and we know we have each other's back. And this type of relationship and these friendships is very important. Like you're saying, like, you have to have people around you that help you and support you in whatever you're doing. And, like, even I understand that, like, we not may agree on everything, right? But it's like we know, like me and you both know that we at least respect each other's views. We don't harp on them. We don't talk negative about them. We don't joke about them. All this shit, right? It's just respect, man. At the end of the day, right? So if you're having people around you that you can't even bring up these topics around, or like any sort of topics that you're thinking of, like you can't be around those people, man.
No.
Like we had deep conversations this week since you've been back, man. Like, and they've been so fulfilling. And like I even said at one time, I'm like, damn, I was waiting for these conversations.
Yeah.
You know, because having just random people around, it doesn't do anything for your soul. But when you're with people that understand good values and try to push you in a good direction, you literally feel alive, you know? Yeah. So, you know, I think it's fate that we met, you know. You think the same way, you know? Me like, too. It's like we have a same mindset, a same vision, and we can help each other out in the future, like, you know, in terms of work and all these things, and you know, we're both going to prosper and do big things. So I think that the main takeaway from this too is like protect your energy,
Yes,
you know,
protect
see your vices in life and don't let it consume you and control you, because this guy made a change, man. Like he just he told you his story from a year ago to now.
Yeah, exactly.
And from now we're going to see these footage, right? And in 5 years from now you're going to see us in a big change, and it's like, damn, how did these guys get there?
Yeah.
This is the point right now, right? The point of change. So that's the video for today. It's been my buddy Dominic. One last thing.
I'll say one last thing too.
right.
Is the best thing a man can have is another person that can be open-minded, right? Every single person obviously has their values, has their let's just say religion,
Beliefs,
has their belief system, and that's fine. And I respect everyone, and I love everyone. But when you're in a friend group, you should always want them to become a better version of themselves.
Right.
If your friends are going down the wrong path and you can see it,
Yes.
help them out, reach out. Don't be ashamed to open maybe their mind, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone's perfect.
Yeah.
We're all people that make mistakes, but you have to help the people around you too, because everyone's struggling.
Yeah, that's a real friend, man.
Yeah,
that's a real friend.
Be there for them. Share with them maybe your experience, and tell them that it's okay to fail, and all they have to do is be willing to change.
Right.
And their life can go full 360.
Facts, bro.
That's it.
All right. Well, that's a great episode here. You know, Dom dropped some bombs on you, so hopefully you take this into your life, reflect on it, and that's it for today. So give a like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and as always, stay happy, stay healthy,
Stay happy.
and stay blessed.
Yes, sir.
Peace out.